Hey YouTube! So I'm here to record the review for If Loving You Is Wrong, Season 3, Episode 6. So tonight's episode was titled The Power of Love. Now I'm going to just be straight up with you for a second. This is probably going to be a fairly quick review because I really would hate to say this, but tonight's episode was kind of a waste of my time. It was like barely anything happened. Y'all gonna have to move it along a little bit faster. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I want to see Randal. Where's the rest of these storylines at? Where is the next door neighbor boo? Where's he? But whatever. Okay, anyway, so let's just get into it. So it starts off at the police station, of course. So, of course, from last week, we know that Brad was placed under arrest for the disappearance of Randal and the baby. So, Detective Simmons, a.k.a. Steven, he was the one that was interviewing Brad. And interviewing, really, he had him in for questioning, and he was just poking at him because the police officer was creating a story in his mind that he believed to be true. He didn't have a lot of evidence to back it up, but he just used his imagination. He believed it to be true, and he basically wants Brad to confess to his story or to say, I do. So he's just going to ask him over and over and over and over and over until Brad says, yeah, I did it. Okay, anyway, so we see him really poking at Brad, okay, is this picture a picture of your wife? Of course, it's a picture of Alex and Randal all hugged up in the backyard. Who took that picture? I don't know, but whatever. And he's like, okay, yeah. And then he's like, okay, and so do you know Randal Holmes? And then he says, yeah. And then he was like, would you say that your wife was pretty close to him? And Brad is like, come on, dude. You're really rubbing it in right now. Can't you see the picture? Clearly they were close to each other. So the detective is like, okay. And I see that Randal is taking your wife to court for custody of your baby. He said, that's not my baby. He said, oh, it's not. So Brad is like, dude, quit playing games. The baby is mixed. You can tell. You know this is not my baby. And then so he's like, oh, okay. Well, I just had to ask. He's like, no, that's not my baby. He's like, oh, okay. So they were having an affair. So I'm sure that made you really angry. I'm sure that made you want to shoot him. I'm sure it made you not even care about the baby. So where are they at? What did you do with them? Okay, it's cold outside. It's nighttime. Help us find them tonight, especially the baby, because the baby is innocent in the situation. The baby deserves to live. So with that being said, you're going to have to give us something extra. Brad is sticking to his, I don't know nothing. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, so then he leaves out the room. The detective leaves out the room, comes back in with the red muddy shoes. And he says, okay, do these look familiar? Do you know who these belong to? Brad is like, yeah, they're mine. He said, oh, okay. And you were at Bandit Mountain this evening? And then he said, yeah, I was up there for a couple of hours. Okay, well, why is it red mud? He was in a new construction area. He said, why were you up there for a couple of hours? I was clearing my mind. He said, yeah, I bet you have a lot of stuff on your mind. He was like, well, yeah, okay. My wife was having an affair and with the guy next door that I trusted, and now she's had a baby with him. Yes, I was up there for a couple of hours to clear my mind. Now, my thing is, Brad is not innocent because we all know that he was digging something to bury something. So even if it was as simple as, oh, I'm burying my wedding ring because I'm done with her, I'm burying all the family photos or something, at least you can use that and say, hey, look, this is the red mud from the boots. This is my alibi. Let me show you where I was at. We can go back to the site and you can dig up the stuff because I didn't do nothing with them. Okay, this is where I was. This is what I was doing. But since he's not doing that, that makes him look suspicious. Okay, anyhow. So at some point, Brad mentions, "Oh well, whoever killed Randal, good job," or something like that. And he's like, the detective is like, "Killed?" Because I never said he was dead. So you clearly must know more information. He's like, "No, well, you said he was missing. I'm just going off everything you told me." He said, no, but I never said he was dead. I just said he was missing. So he tries to slip up Brad, and Brad is like, look, bottom line, I don't have nothing to do with none of this. Okay, so anywho, then it goes to the next scene at the police station. Stephen asks Eddie, why, oh, well, first, Stephen, the detective, he comes out, he talks to Ben, and he tells Ben, hey, I need you to watch Louise Holmes, which is Randal's mother. I need you to be on watch with her at the hospital while she recovers because clearly she's the only witness. So he says, okay, I thought I was supposed to watch Pete. He said, no, they've moved Pete like to FBI custody. And so he's like, oh, okay, whatever. And then so Steven asks Eddie, because he sees Eddie walk in, he says, why aren't you at Bandit Mountain like I told you? Eddie says, don't trip, I got it under control. Like, Eddie, you probably didn't even do anything. Okay, anywho, so the next thing you know, Ben is like working on his computer. He gets a text on his phone. He's looking at the text, smiling, like, and we're led to believe that he's texting Julius. Now, what threw me off is that he was smiling like this was like his new bae. So I was like a little confused about that. Yeah. Then, so he puts his phone away. Next thing you know, we see Marcy. She comes out of the bathroom to talk to Kelly and Esperanza. They offer her some ginger tea. She's like, I'm just really not feeling well with all of this stuff going on. My stomach is in knots. And basically, at this point, all she can think about is Randal. And it's the power of love, baby, because after all this stuff that has happened with him, she's like, I mean, like, I'm like physically like breaking down right now because I hate this man, but I love this man at the same time. Is this ginger tea? Oh, really? Because I remember Randal had an ex-girlfriend named Ginger, and we went to one of his high school reunions, and she was just staring me up and down like she hated me. And I immediately thought, now this is me talking for a second. I immediately thought, girl, she was staring you down because they must have had some type of secret affair going on or something. She mad because he bringing you out in public, something like that. I was thinking ahead. But anyway, so then she says, yeah, she was really upset because she really wanted to be with him. So nights like tonight, I'm thinking to myself, man, what if Randal would have married Ginger? Would I be at home, happy, safe, sound, and asleep? Or I wonder what she's doing right now. Is she happy, safe, sound, and asleep? Maybe the world could have worked differently if the chips didn't fall where they fell. So whatever the case, a bunch of what ifs. They're like, girl, don't worry about that. You're stressing out. She's like, look, I can't help but to stress out over it. Understandable. She says, I can't keep anything down. It's just a lot. And I'm thinking to myself, Kelly and Esperanza, you are both mothers, okay? She's saying she couldn't keep anything down. She's been saying this for a while. You give her tea to try to help. She's like crying all the time, even before all of this happened. Now, I know the affair was a lot to deal with too, but I feel like you should have seen the symptoms, like early pregnancy symptoms. Like at least say, hey, it's probably going to be negative, but you should just go ahead and take this test just in case so we can rule it out. And then we'd all know that she's pregnant. Okay, anywho. So next thing you know, she's like, you know what? I think Brad did it. He was just acting too funny and he came in the house. He looked suspicious. He was sweating, but not like working out sweat or like it's hot outside sweat. It was like sweat like I'm stressed out, like I've been doing something bad, like I need to calm myself down. He was just all out of pocket. So they're like, girl, don't say that because you're not sure. You can't just go around saying things like that. And she's like, okay, well, is he in jail? Like, what is going on? Like, Esperanza, can you tell me something? Esperanza's like, I guess I can try to call somebody down at the station and see what's going on, but really you shouldn't worry about that. Okay, whatever. So next thing you know, like she starts freaking out about Randal again. Oh my gosh, what if he's dead? Is he okay? All this stuff. So Esperanza says, you know what? I'm gonna go try to get some answers and see what's going on. Okay, so next thing you know, we see Eddie and Ben. So Eddie is in the police station. He asks Ben about Pete, like, why aren't you watching Pete at the hospital? And then he says, so of course, then Ben tells him, oh, they switched him to some like FBI detail. And then he says, really? He said, yeah, so I can't watch him. I'm going to go have to watch this other lady at the hospital. So then he says, this messes up everything. Eddie says this. He says, well, this probably has something to do with that Claudia girl. By the way, did you find any information on her? And Ben is like, no, look, I looked really hard. And then Eddie says, man, like you just mess up everything. I may as well just do it myself. And then so Ben, like a smart aleck little kid, was like, yeah, you should do it yourself. He was like, who you getting smart with? Like, remember who's in charge in this situation. So of course he punks him as usual, but Eddie is just like, look, I got a new boo texting me. I got a new bae, so I'm really not gonna continue to put up with your foolishness here. Okay? Okay? Eddie, like Ben is kind of like in like a Michelle A. Dre Suge Knight situation. Anyways, if y'all watched that movie this weekend, y'all caught that. But anyways, so he just like storms out. Eddie calls him a little B, whatever. He's disrespectful. Okay, so then we see Lucian and Natalie at the hospital. So of course they're still waiting to see how Joey does in his surgery. And Natalie, all of a sudden, she's calm because she has taken that medicine. And she says, "Why is this happening to me? Why are all these bad things happening to me? Like, what did I do? Why can't I catch a break? Like, it's just like it's my kids. Like, if I feel like I've always been taking 3 steps forward to be pushed 5 steps backwards. Like, I can never get ahead. And my son, like, why did he have to get shot? My son. So then Lucian, he's so supportive. He says, sometimes things just happen. Like, I don't really have an explanation, but this is life, and things are not going to work out ideally perfect like it's supposed to. And there's no explanation. It just happens. And so then she says, yeah, but it's just so much going on. Like, things have to start getting better, like, soon. Like, things need to start looking up eventually. And he tells her, like, things are going to get better. She said, I knew, and I was just about to get out of that apartment complex. He said, no, you're still getting out of it. She said, good, because I don't want to go back to the place where my son was shot. He says, well, that's fine. You don't have to go back. Remember, I got $200,000 in my savings account. So next thing you know, she says, you know what? I did a lot of stuff wrong, but one thing I did do right was being with you. Like, you are everything to me. You support me. You love my kids like they're your kids. He was like, they are. They're our kids. And she's like, I just love you so much. And he's looking at her and he starts laughing. He's like, I'm gonna have to get you some more of these pills because you're just like extra friendly right now. And I'm thinking she might low key really need some medication if it's gonna keep her calm. Okay, anyway, so she's happy about, in this moment right now, just to be with him and for allowing him to love her. Okay, so whatever the case, then Lucian gets, he says, I'm going to go get an update on Joey from the nurse. So he asks the nurse. The nurse says Joey is still in the operating room. Okay, cool. So then Lucian's phone rings and it is Andrew. Andrew is like, look, I need to talk to you. Eddie said this. I'm not Eddie. Lucian was like, this is not a good time. Andrew is like, well, I'm telling you something. Eddie is up to something. Okay. I don't know what it is, but I heard him talking to Brad about this whole situation with the baby and all that. And he is under like FBI detail now and all of this stuff. Like, it's just a lot going on. Like, Lucian is like, what are you talking about? He said, yeah, Alex's baby was kidnapped, Randall's missing, all this stuff. And Lucian is like, whoa, this is too much to deal with right now, okay? One thing at a time. So he says, I'm going to need your help. And he said, no, don't do anything. Just lay low. I will handle things, okay? I will call you. I will update you. And then he said, where's Miss Louise? She's like, she's at the hospital you're at. Okay, cool. I'll deal with it. Okay, so he gets off the phone to turn around and see Eddie talking to Natalie. Eddie had came up to Natalie and was like, I'm so sorry for your son. It's really sad that that has happened. All differences aside, if you need anything, feel free. I'm here for you. And I'm like, come on, dude. Like, that was so like unnecessary because we all know that you don't mean it and you are an evil person. Like, go away. So Lucian goes up to him and was like, dude, don't ever say nothing to my woman again. Like, I know that you like put your hands on her before or tased her. Don't say nothing to her again. Like, or it will be your last time speaking. And he said, oh, well, I'm sure it will be. Do you know what kind of man you're dealing with, Natalie? Did you know that I still need my gun back from him because he shot me, and he shot the clip or the handle or something off of his gun. He had like perfect aim. Like, it was scary. It wasn't like regular police type of work. It was like some special forces type of stuff. So Eddie is kind of catching on to the fact that he's like, Lucian is not this rookie that I thought he was, and it might be more to Lucian. I'm gonna figure it out. So Lucian is like, look, dude, like that really will be the last time you're living and breathing. So don't trip, don't mess with Natalie, don't mess with my family, whatever. Don't go near Pete because I know what you're trying to do. Okay, so then Eddie goes away, and you need to go check on him. Like, I don't want him going near Joey, and go watch him. He said, no, I'm going to stay here to support you. And then she says, no, because he's crazy. And he said, okay, and I'm crazier. So whatever the case, he decides to stay there with Natalie. Now we see Julius and Ben meet up. Now I'm gonna make this kind of quick. It was like the strangest thing ever. So they meet up, and Julius, like in like a like remote location somewhere, like in the woods or something. And Julius is like, so how did you get away? I thought Eddie's always has his eyes on you. He said, yeah, but I managed to slip out. He was like, oh, okay, so I need you to do something for me to prove your loyalty. So Eddie's like, yeah, yeah, and anything. Not Eddie, Ben. It's like, yeah, yeah, anything. And he says, okay, I need you. We have a problem, which we both know is Eddie. I need you to kill him. And then, so Ben is like, look, I'm a lover, not a killer. Like, not even a fighter, really. Like, I can't do that. That's my fellow police officer. They're going to have to put somebody in jail. They will connect the dots to me, like I'm telling you. Like, I will be done with. Like, aren't you the cartel? Like, can't you do something? Hold on. Speaking of cartel, Natalie at one point in the hospital turns to Lucian and says, ain't you FBI? Why don't you just get rid of Eddie? Then he said, girl, bye. Like, stop talking. Like, that's supposed to be top secret. So she vows to not say anything. Anyways, back to Julius and Ben. So then they say, he says, well, I need you to do it. Ben doesn't feel comfortable with it. He's a punk. And so he was like, oh, well, I can do anything else besides that. He was like, what else? What could you do for me? He was like, well, I thought when we were back at the police station, like, you touched my hand. I thought you liked me. He was like you like how? He was like, I thought you liked me. He was like, are you gay? And then he's like, no, I have a girlfriend. He was like, once again, are you gay? He's like, no, 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 no. I'm just saying, like, he was like, oh, well, do you have something against men that like men? He's like, no, no, no. I'm like, Julius, you're really confusing me at this point, okay? I don't know, like, what's going on? Like, there's a whole bunch of mixed signals. Anyways, he was like, look, I need you to think about this life because this is what you need. One dead police officer can change your life. So, you like my car? Drive it. You're going to take me home in it. You're going to, drive it around as long as you like and then come back to me with an answer. Okay, so last but not least, we have back to the jail cell with Detective Simmons, a.k.a. Steven. He is questioning Brad still. He's driving Brad crazy because Brad is like, didn't do it, I didn't do it, I didn't do it, okay? Like, he didn't even care about Alex at this point, the fact that she was missing. Like, he's just like, get me out of here, I don't care. And then he pushes him to the point, the detective pushes him to the point of showing him a picture of the baby. He was like, get that out of my face. I can't look at it. I can't look at it. Then he looks at it. He was like, okay, I killed the baby. And the episode was over. So it's like, did you kill? I don't think you killed the baby because I heard the baby crying in the background when Randal was in the box. But I think he's just saying that to get him off his case or because he thinks that's what he wants to hear. But anywho, as always, like, comment, and subscribe, and check me out at mrsblogaholic.com. Bye.